It's time to meet Clifton.
With your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray.
Good evening, Clifton. Thanks for joining us. We have a great show planned for tonight. We've been making some changes to the look and feel of the show, and we hope that you all enjoy them. Hopefully, George will let me host. What do you think, George? As usual, we have some great guests and great music in store for you tonight. So stick around and we'll be right back.
Tonight's guests are Keeper of the Avenue of Flags, Keith Oakley. City Green Director of Community Engagement, Jasmine Moreano. Senior Citizen Program Aide, Margaret Nysk. President and Representative of the Vesta Project, Stephanie M. Smith and Donnie Barnes. Featuring the music of Swingman and the Misfit Mutt. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Meet Clifton.
So my first guest tonight has been a guest many times. Mr. Keith Oakley is with us. He's always been here for many different things, and unfortunately, Keith is retiring. He's moving to South Carolina, right?
Yes.
But he's also one of the founders of the Flag Barn and the flags that we put out here in front of City Hall, which is probably the greatest display of American flags probably in this country. So as your last duty as the officer of this, can you just explain how far we've gone and what's the future for the Flag Barn?
Sure. We started in 2002 in September, so we're coming on 21 years now. We started it as a whim from Walt Brooksman, who had a son that lived in Sheldon, Ohio. And Iowa has what we have, but only like maybe 20 flags. So we came to the mayor and council. He recruited me and John Beagle and said, hey, let's do this here. And I said, great, I can't wait. That's a fantastic thing. So we did it. We got it all going. September 2nd, 2002 was our opening day. We had 213 flags. And just to tell you how far we are, today we have 2,268 flags. The significance is that every one of those flags has the name of a veteran. That's what it's all about. A lot of people put flags up. That's great, fantastic. We'd love to see that. But ours represents our veterans, and that means a lot. And we have the one section, 283, that were killed in action through all the wars. And there's two projects coming up that are good. One is that all those 283 are going to get street signs on the city of Clifton, hopefully on or where they lived. If we can figure some of that, we still have some we don't know. But most of them, we have it. And also, we're going to bring the Purple Heart Monument that's by the library. That's coming to City Hall in front of the Flag Barn where our other monuments are. So it's really going to be a great place to come. You can see everything you want to see.
Keith, just for the flags, so people know, what are the requirements
to
get a flag?
Sure. Requirements are you have to be a veteran naturally, and you also have to have lived in Clifton at one time or another. Could have been 100 years ago, could have been last week. As long as you live in Clifton, you're a veteran, you can get a flag. It costs $220, and it's a 10-foot pole, 3x5 flag with a nameplate. There's a sleeve in the ground, and that's where it goes into that sleeve.
So we know, Keith, he's been here a long time doing this, but it takes more than Keith and one or two people. So what else do we need for this?
Before you leave, what do we need? A lot of volunteers. To me, it's unbelievable seeing these people. They're all 80, 85, 90 years old. They're there doing flags because sometimes the young people don't get involved. Last time we had a scout troop come, which was great. We'd love to see that, but it's hard to do that, to get them there early in the morning. But we definitely need volunteers. It takes a couple hours. We usually get 50, 60 volunteers, but our greatest asset is the fire department. They send a couple of trucks and guys every time, and we just pray there's no fire in them because I've seen them have to drop the cart and go to their trucks. So,
how many times a year do we do the flags?
5 times a year. We do it Memorial Day, Flag Day, 4th of July, September 11th, which is Patriots Day, and November 11th, which is our best one. That's Veterans Day.
So we appreciate everything you did, obviously, Keith.
Thank you.
And you've done a lot, and it's going to be hard to replace you as the volunteer. Like Keith said, we need more volunteers. This is an ongoing project. If there's one last thing you could say to everybody before we finish, then of course we'd like to thank Keith for all his service to the city. Wish him well. He's not going to be that far away. I'm sure he's going to come and visit us.
I got kids here.
Yeah, so just one last thing you might want to say to the people of Clifton.
I'd like to say to everybody, everybody knows I love Clifton. I'm a rah-rah Clifton guy. It's changing a little, but we need people to volunteer for everything, not just the flags, everything else. If you, whatever you want to do in Clifton, you can do. There's volunteers, if it's the animals or the plants or whatever it could be, flags, veterans, special needs kids, anything. It's here in Clifton. So please step up and volunteer and do something to help your town.
Thank you. Keith, George, you want to?
Keith, it's been a pleasure knowing you.
Thank you, George.
You've done nothing but good things for the city of Clifton, and we all thank you, and we all going to miss you dearly.
Thank you. I am going to miss it. I admit.
No, no. Keith,
Okay,
I appreciate it.
thanks,
Thanks for everything.
No.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Clifton and friends. Welcome to the updates. I'm Sharon Corbanix, and again, so happy to be here with you. Well, we're in the throes of summer. You can tell by the weather that we've been having, but we've also been having some fun activities, especially through the Recreation Department. They have a lot of different activities happening, so please go to their site, Recreation Department, and see what they have happening in the next few weeks or so. As a reminder, we do have the summer memories photos that are being shown. So please send your summer memory photos to the Clifton studio, or you can email them to the address that's on the screen below. So please do so. We'd like to see how you're spending your summer and enjoying your free time. Now, we do have a save the date, September 3rd, the annual Food Truck Festival, which is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, that is September 3rd. It's food, music, vendors, arts and crafts for children. You can write holiday cards to our troops that are abroad, and watch for the list of food trucks and bands that will be performing as well. And all the proceeds do benefit the Veterans Day Parade and the Art in the Park program for our children, so that's important. Now, there's also going to be a senior barbecue on Friday, September 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that is at the Clifton Senior Center, which is 900 Clifton Avenue. And it's open to all Clifton residents. You do have to be 65 years young or older, and registration is required. So please call 973-470-2234. Now, we also have concerts in the park all throughout the summer at Maine Memorial Park, which is Sunday evenings, and Botany Village, Friday evening. So please enjoy. There's different types of bands that are happening, quartets and so on. And we also have another save the date, Sunday, September 10th, is the Car, Truck, and Motorcycle Show for the Boys and Girls Club of Clifton. It's the 10th annual one. They've been doing such a good job for so long. So please save the date, Sunday, September 10th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's a free spectator admission. They'll have a lot of different things going on. So please go to their website for more info. It's www.cliftoncarshow.com. So please keep that in mind. If it rains, don't worry about it. They'll have it the next day, September 24th. So keep that in mind. And we do want to send a big thank you to Keith Oakley. You know, he has been the Clifton volunteer for so many years, and he's such an important part of Clifton and working along with all different organizations and so on. He's been well known for many years, and he has done so many endeavors that has helped. He has paved the way, he has walked the walk, and now it's for us to walk his walk as well as an example going forward. So thank you, Keith. We really had a great time working with you here and there, and wherever you are, you're always somewhere. We do want to wish you well in South Carolina. We had a lovely time at your send-off dinner, so thank you again. You're a lovely person, you, your wife, your family. So we couldn't have asked for a better example to be a wonderful volunteer. So thank you again, Keith. We will visit you, hopefully. You know that we will miss you, but you're never too far from our hearts. So thank you again. Have a great summer, everyone.
Oh yeah! All right!
My next guest, Jasmine Moreano. Thank you for coming on. She's the Director of the Community Engagement for City Green in Clifton, New Jersey. So, Jasmine, first thing we want to do is, who is City Green?
Let me introduce City Green. Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me here today. To those of you who don't know, City Green is a nonprofit organization, and we're lucky enough to have partnered with the City of Clifton to house ourselves and to develop and open up what used to be known as Schulte's Family Farm and is now the City Green Farm Eco Center. So, we work with the City of Clifton to maintain and make improvements to that property. But more than that, what we're able to do is create programming and opportunities, events and activities for residents to come and enjoy the nature, the farm, and really just enjoy being in an outdoor space here in the City of Clifton.
How can they access the programs?
There's so many different things that we do. For example, this week alone, if you went to our Instagram page at City Green NJ or on our website, you would see that we have a tomato workshop on Wednesday. We have yoga on the farm on Thursday. Saturday, we have a new program that's really a new priority of City Green to be more accessible and more open to the public. So it's called Open Family Saturdays. It's actually free. It's on Saturday from 10 to 2. Families can just register for free on our website and then come, and we have children's activities and gardening activities set up. They can feed the goats, they can water the garden, and they can have fun at the farm. Other than that, we have farmers markets and farm stands. You probably have seen it around town. We've got a big Vegemobile. We've been to the Allwood Library. We come here to Clifton City Hall every Wednesday from 2:30 to 4:30. And you can find us over at the Farm Eco Center at 171 Grove Street on Fridays from 10 to 2. You can also go shopping there.
Okay, now just really quickly, because I know when you come to the farm, there's animals. Now, do you have a new resident?
We do have a new resident since the last time I've been here. Her name is Luna the goose. And she's actually a guard goose, which is a really interesting concept. Our farmers are really prioritize working in a holistic way with the land and the environment and the animals. So what Luna does is she kind of serves like as the mother hen. She lives with the chickens. She was born with the chickens. She's the same age as chickens. And she alerts us if there's like a hawk in the area, and they all follow her around the farm. So if you see them walking, from one area to the other, Luna the goose is in the front of the line. She's honking, and the little chickens are following her.
Wow, that's
It's
pretty
a lot
incredible.
of fun. Mm-hmm.
And kids probably love that.
Of course.
And I know they like the goats.
They like the goats.
You
can feed the goats. You can see Luna the goose. And hang out with the chickens, feed them as well.
That's good. And I know it's a regenerative farm.
Yeah.
So maybe you could explain a little bit about that.
Really, truly, Clifton has such a wonderful asset with this project with us and this collaboration with our organization. So regenerative farming that's the new old way of farming, right? It's what our grandparents would have been doing that's in tune with the seasons, that's recognizing, to keep the soil healthy and to keep the environment intact. So what we're doing with our farming practices over at City Green and all the growing that we're doing over there, we're actually making the soil better, we're making the water table healthier, we're removing chemicals from the environment and from the soil. So, it really is a fantastic, like I said, opportunity for environmental awareness and education around agriculture here in the city of Clifton, which has been a lifelong farming community. So, we're just doing the new version of it.
Now, is there a farm stand at the site?
Yeah, Wednesday evenings from 4 to 6, and then Fridays from 10 to 2. You can go to the farm and shop. We're also open every day from like 9 to 4 to go hang out and walk around. You can volunteer with us on Wednesdays in the morning or in the afternoon. So there's a lot of different ways to come hang out with us at City Green.
Now, do you still have the mobile that comes to City Hall?
Yep. And then we have the Vegemobile, which is
The Vegemobile.
The Vegemobile, yeah. It's such a cool project. It's a big box truck. We come here because the senior center is here, because we have our partners at the Clifton Health Department as well, who help promote that event, and make fresh produce and organically grown and healthy fresh produce available to everybody. So we take the food on the road.
So what's in season today, vegetable-wise?
Okay, I was away last week, but I did see squashes, basil, scallions, collards, kale, arugula, we have lettuce, we have cucumbers, we have cabbage. Take your pick.
That's quite a bit.
That's quite a bit.
And
That's
people
quite a
come and
bit.
they buy it.
And people come and they buy it, and we have a very special program. So any senior citizens that have farmers market checks, or any mothers that have farmers market checks, or even using Families First or food stamps, they get good food bucks so they can buy extra produce.
So where's the organization headed now? Is there anything next for this organization?
Oh, like I mentioned before, one thing that we're really prioritizing and talking about more is accessibility.
Okay.
So we know that we partnered with the city of Clifton in order to do the Inclusive Healthy Communities project that made the paths walkable. So if you'd been there 2 years ago, you'd know that the paths were all gravel, and we would invite seniors over or disabled students over, and it would be very hard for them to get around. But we won this grant from the state of New Jersey that we were paved a lot of areas and put some pavers down. So now we have senior field trips, and we even work with the Clifton High School and their disability special services department to bring high school students from Clifton High to do education, garden education with them. So we're really focusing on accessibility. And in addition to that, more hours, right? We know that, me too, as a working mom, I'm working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and I want to bring my kids to City Green. So being open on Saturdays for our Open Saturday program and our evening market on Wednesdays, really opening up the place so that more people can connect with us and party with us and hang out with us and enjoy all the magic that City Green has to offer.
And actually see nature at its
See
finest.
nature at its finest, and be available when people are able to go, when they're not at work, and when they're able to actually bring their families over there.
And last question I have, because it's on my list here, community-powered farm.
Yeah, that is a big word for us and a big concept at City Green. And again, just like a remarkable project actually happening in the city of Clifton, but between our volunteers and the senior citizens who come for field trips, and the youth that we employ, from the city of Clifton, and the little kids who come to Storytime in a Garden that we do with the Clifton Recreation Department, right? We have so many people coming and planting and tending the soil and weeding the garden and watering from us, from all walks of life and all different abilities, and they're all coming to City Green and helping us take care of it. So we have a corporate volunteer group, for example, coming this week. We also have a senior field trip. We'll put them to work too. They'll do some planting and some watering. And so really it's a group effort, and everybody who comes to City Green gets to participate in that community-powered farm.
Oh, great. George.
You want to explain a little bit about what you're doing in Weaselbrook Park?
Oh yeah, Weaselbrook Park. So we work with it's a county park here in the city of Clifton. And we partnered with Passaic County to actually build a brand new community garden. Now, I heard that I used to go to the tire park when I was a kid, and that was bad. No. But the county, as part of their redevelopment of the park, no more tire park, sadly. But the playground is beautiful, and they built a whole entire community garden. And so we did a registration process. Folks could register with us at City Green. And they can rent a garden bed. There's a waiting list. We also have one at the farm on Grove Street as well, the Clifton Community Garden. And it's a community garden. So you get a plot. You're assigned a plot from us. It's a raised garden bed. And you can plant your tomatoes, your flowers, your cucumbers, whatever you want to grow, all your food in there. And so it's really been exciting at Weaselbrook Park because we're kind of managing it. And so we do volunteer days, and we have children's programming from the local Head Start program that's over there next to Weaselbrook Park. They come for field trips to Weaselbrook Park and do children's gardening with us over there. So we're doing all the City Green things, the growing and the educating and the community building is happening at Weaselbrook Park too.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. And please check us out.
Jasmine, thanks for coming. And I think you should take advantage of the opportunity to experience nature close up. Visit the farm. Jasmine's there. If you have any questions, they'll answer it. And
Yeah,
you're the head person.
I'm the one.
Okay, she's the one. So stop by and see what Clifton has to offer.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. My next guest is Margaret Nysk. She's the Senior Citizen Program Aide for the City of Clifton, of course, Senior Services. So, Margaret, let's start out with saying, what are the senior services?
Senior services, we provide a lot of programs to our seniors. Most of them are based on your income. So the best thing would be is by calling our office, scheduling appointments so we can have sufficient time to interview and screen you for services.
Okay, so we're going to get on topic of this. Where are we located?
We are located right next to the animal shelter. We're at City Hall Complex. We're at the last barn. It's barn C5.
Okay, and of course there's an age requirement. So
yes.
How old do you have to be to receive the service?
Most of the programs is based age 60 or older, but if you are disabled and under 60, you are eligible for services.
Okay, so now let's just get into the programs. What programs do you provide?
A lot of programs are assistance with your PAD, PAAD, which is the pharmaceutical assistance to the aged and disabled. That program provides the state pays for your monthly premiums for your medications. And you get $225 towards your gas and electric bill, as well as a discount towards your registration. But again, that's all based on income. We help out with food stamps. There's a lot of services we help out with.
Probably, I have a flyer in front of me here and lists everything. Could someone get a copy? This is all the services that are offered.
They can call our office, or the flyers are posted on the website.
Right, because there's way too many to talk about here.
A lot.
There's reduced bus fare, Meals on Wheels. Is that part of your program
Yes.
too? Meals on.
Yes.
Someone would call you for that.
Correct.
And financial aid.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that people should call, and Margaret does a great job. One important thing people ask me all the time, and that's the senior tax freeze program.
Yes, that's the big program that's most of our clients come in for that. That has been in place since Whitman was governor. And again, that's all based on your income too. But for this year, I believe it's $99,000 and change, and last year is $94,000, and that includes everything. Social Security, pensions, IRA, distributions, if you won gambling, lottery, whatnot, the state wants to know all your income. And what that does is it technically does not freeze your property taxes. The state should reword it, but if your taxes were $9,000 last year and $10,000 this year, you'll get a reimbursement of the $1,000 back as long as you are under the income eligibility.
And you have to apply for that every year?
Every year, yes.
So
once you're in the program once, and then the following year, the Trenton sends out the application to you.
Okay, so you pay your regular taxes
Correct.
and you get reimbursement.
Yes.
So actually, it's a yearly thing application constantly.
Correct.
And I'm looking at this here, and can you speak on the CHIP program at all?
We just refer to Brian Rogers in the housing department. He's in charge of that program.
Okay, because that helps people.
Renovations with your home. I think there's a limit of $10,000 that you can get from the city.
But I know there's a income
Yes,
requirement
everything
too.
is
I think it's
income-based.
similar to what we just spoke about. And then also, Medicare and things like this, I know you do counseling. So how would people go about that? Because they have questions, they want to go on Medicare.
Yes.
They're at that age. How do they go about doing that through you?
Okay, I'm one of 3 certified CHIP counselors, which is a state health insurance program certification in the city of Clifton. If somebody wanted to come down, just give us a call. Our number is 973-470-2234, and I will be happy to set up an appointment, sit down with you, and see what you are eligible for.
Okay, now, and another big question is, people call me all the time, and I know we refer through the city manager. People want to know about providing transportation.
Yes. The city does provide transportation for medical appointments, as well as to Stop and Shop and ShopRite.
Because how do they do that, though?
They would have to call Deidre in outreach, and her number is 973-470-2253, and she'll fill out an application with her.
Okay. And that you have to make an appointment then, right?
Yes, if you know I think they say.
Can they call an hour from now or something, or basic,
No,
not really,
no, she really wants, I think, is it 3 days notice?
Okay.
But 3 days notice. But if there's a cancellation and they have a driver available, I'm sure they would be able to pick them up.
Because a lot of people, they'll call and they'll say, I need a ride 3 o'clock.
I know.
And I'm sure you get that
Yes,
call
we get
every
the
day.
calls all the time.
And obviously you can't work that quickly.
Correct.
I mean, I know you'd like to, but sometimes it doesn't work. So anyhow, there's a lot of services here. And I know it's Senior Barn. I don't know if this is part of your thing, the women and men come in for lunch or...
Yeah, well, that's a
breakfast?
county-run program. It's a nutrition program through the county. They provide a continental breakfast every day. They play bingo for about an hour, and then they have a hot lunch meal, and they ask for a suggested donation of $1.25. But that was through the county, and if they want to sign up for it, they would see Lorraine, the nutrition manager, and she's usually there at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay, but that's through the Senior Barn.
Yes,
Right.
that's located
But
here.
technically, they would probably call you and then you
Yeah.
would refer.
Correct.
Do a lot of people come for this program?
They do.
Who's eligible, firstly?
65 or older.
No income?
No income.
Verification?
No.
And obviously, they work through nutrition.
Yes. It's a county-run program, so anybody is eligible. As long as you're a Clifton City resident, you're more than happy to come in.
And then sometimes you have different events for the seniors there?
We do. Currently we have Zumba classes on Thursdays, 3 to 4. There's a balance and strength class Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 1:45. And we have yoga with James on Fridays at 2:30.
Okay. Are you planning any more programs?
We are trying to do some trips and whatnot. There's plans in the works right now.
Because I know everyone's usually asks line dancing.
Oh yeah, there is line dancing once a month. Well, actually, I think now it's twice a month on Mondays at 4 o'clock. If you want, you can call us up and we'll give you the schedule.
Okay, so, I mean, I appreciate you giving this information. I think the answer here is pick up this flyer, I guess in City Hall,
Yes,
or
or
just
in
come,
our
come to the Senior Barn or call down to the senior, ask for Margaret, she'll explain all the services. There's a lot. Meals on Wheels, a reduced bus fare, living will by appointment. They explain things for legal services, notaries. There's a lot of things for seniors. So if you have an interest, give a call or they'll get you a flyer or they could even just stop in. Right? 'Cause
Correct.
they could just come into the Senior Barn.
Anytime.
What are your hours?
8
there?
to 4 p.m.
So
Monday through Friday.
8 to 4, and it's on City Hall grounds. So we provide this, the city provides this, you should take advantage of it.
Correct.
Margaret,
Yes.
thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Anytime.
It's helpful.
It was a pleasure.
We'll be right back.
If you come down to the river, bet you're gonna find some people who live. You don't have to worry, cause you have no money. People on the river are happy again. They will keep on turning, while the fire will keep on burning. And we're rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling on the river. Rolling on the river.
Okay, welcome back. My next guests are Stephanie Smith from the Vesta Project and Donnie Barnes. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming in. The Vesta Project is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide exceptional services to women, children, and men who are living with the shame and guilt of sexual assault, child molestation, and domestic violence. So today's subject would be A Woman's Worth, or subtitle is Seen and Unseen. So let's just start with A Woman's Worth.
Okay. So a woman's worth, when I think about a woman's worth, I think about a woman who she's the giver of life all over the world. The woman is the giver of life. So, and she's also worthy to be treated a certain way, and she's worthy to be valued. In this country, 1 out of 2 women are sexually abused. Wow. And I don't think we understand the importance of her value. And I think because we live in a society that most relationships are complementary, more so than symmetry, meaning that most relationships are unequal instead of equal relationships, women are viewed as being less than what she is.
And when you say 1 out of 2 women are abused, now are we talking in relationships, consensual relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend type thing, or outside of that?
Not at all. We're talking about 80% of women in this country or throughout the world are sexually abused by either their father, their uncle, the mother's boyfriend, their brother, the cousin, the priest. the count, and so on.
So sensual and
oh,
yeah.
absolutely. So 80%, only 20% of women that are sexually assaulted is abused by a stranger.
Wow.
Or yeah,
That's a big percentage.
that's
And
a,
only 20% is too much.
No, any percent is too much. No one should be disrespected, men or women or children. So now we have the seen woman and the unseen woman. So if you could explain that a little bit.
okay. Well, Chocolate Khan has a song called "I'm Every Woman."
Okay.
So the seen woman is the mother, the grandmother, the sister, the attorney, the legislator, the billionaire, the teacher. So all of these women, if we're saying that 1 out of 3 women have a history of sexual violence, all of these women have been violated.
Ooh.
So what we mean by the unseen woman is that the majority of these women between the age of 12 and 18. So when you're 12 years old, what grade are you in? Maybe
Junior high school?
About ninth,
But
eighth,
no,
ninth grade.
no, 6th grade. Thank you. Yeah, 6th grade. So we're talking about the majority of women that are sexually violated. It happened when they were either in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th college
Okay.
state. So those are the women that we get to see as they become adults. But when they're at that age, that we don't see them. We see them every day, but we don't know that.
Right.
So that's what we mean by the unseen women.
Donnie and yourself, what's your role in this project, so that people can understand? Are you counselors? Do you recruit people? I'm not too sure.
I am not a counselor. I actually met Stephanie to heal from my trauma
Okay.
that I didn't even know I was unhealed from until I just started doing research and saw that my life wasn't as fulfilling as it could be. And I knew that it was because I was hesitant to talk about it, because we don't talk about those things. And through her work and through my own healing, one of my platforms, I'm a playwright and a director.
Nice.
I just want to stop violence against women and children. I've done the vagina monologues like about 10 times, and me and my crew, we've personally raised over $30,000 to stop violence against women and children across the world.
Wow.
It's a mission and a passion, because I'm near healing, but every time I see a young girl or a young woman living a life that's unfulfilled, I just want to let them know that there's hope, and her unseen woman that's in pain can be healed, so that she could be seen as the full creator of life that she is.
And obviously, you have to see someone has to take an interest in your story, I guess, and I guess that's where you come in.
Right.
So, and is this an organization you have?
Yeah. Well, the Vesta Project, I started it because I started the first trauma healing group at UMDNJ. Okay. So, and my office was in the ER. I had one office in the ER, and I had another office in the behavior science building. And I would counsel women when they were at the worst stage in trauma, meaning they would come in, they were hysterical, they were crying, they were afraid, they were, they felt the shame. So because I would see all these women back to back, I decided that it would be helpful if I created an environment for them, a safe environment where they could be transparent and tell their stories. And so we created this group called, it's the Vesta Project back at the hospital. It was the Safe and Sound Center, where women came in to tell their story. I can create the atmosphere. I can do the cognitive process and treatment. However, I cannot tell their story the way they can tell their story to each other.
Okay, so this is about abusers. So let's talk little bit about abusers.
Mm-hmm. So Donnie, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about.
Let's get them all off the planet.
If you're comfortable, maybe something you could explain.
Well, I go to a spiritual center, so I try to see the good in everyone. And human beings have good and bad. We're not just one thing.
Right.
My abuser was a good man who did a couple bad things. I wish that something could get through to these men, that this isn't just you getting your jollies off. You are destroying lives. You are quelching the light of a human being. You are making a young girl grow up to be a dysfunctional mother.
Low self-esteem, things
all
like
of that. Low self-worth, picking other abusers.
Right.
Because there's something in the psyche, there's something that changes when you're violated. And some women, especially if they don't go to like the Vesta Project or other places where you can be healed, they'll just keep finding situations where they're abused again. You have statistics of women who have been maybe abused as a child. They'll find an abusive husband.
Right.
They'll always picking a way to keep
cyclical,
it to keep the story going.
Right. You have to break the cycle at some point.
And what's good about the Vesta Project is I learned how I don't say I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a survivor. And a lot of our meetings that we had, we talk about the positivity. There are women in the group who will blow your mind. Like they didn't just survive. They just broke through the pain and the trauma, and they thrived and changed the world and changed people that they know.
Okay, so obviously abuse is serious, but you have to educate the kids somehow on this or make them aware of that. Is this something you can do, or can we talk a little bit about how do we educate the kids on this?
I think you have to have the conversation. And I think it's important that we understand that sexual violence is not about sex.
Right.
It's not about reproduction. Violence is an act of when someone is exerting or enforcing their power on you or trying to harm you or to abuse you. So that's what I think people don't understand that that's sexual violence. And it has nothing to do with sex because the majority of abusers are married or in a relationship. And I think we get that mixed up when we say that. So when we're talking to children, I think we have to talk to them about inappropriate behavior from a person, from an adult. How someone might be nice to you or they might groom you, as they say. But you have to be careful if they are doing physical things to you, having any kind of physical contact with you that's inappropriate. And I don't think we're having that conversation enough, and it should be called the conversation.
Right. You think, because this is very important, and it happens a lot, you think schools should have some classes? I don't know if they do or they don't, but I think it would be important.
Absolutely.
For schools to educate the kids. I don't know what age it would be, but any age to start the conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you say?
Yes, I don't know if we could say, I saw a movie recently about child sex trafficking.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as girls and boys are able to talk, they need to learn about the sacred nature of their body, that no one gets to touch it. We all need to foster safe spaces for children to say, Uncle, John did something weird to me. I don't like it. I think we need safe spaces.
Yes. Okay, so
school
needs to be talked about so that they're not uncomfortable with it.
There's sex ed in school, I believe, still.
I think so.
That needs to be brought up.
Yeah.
And I think there's a woman and female and girl empowerment that's going on now. Maybe we're getting closer to girls be like, no, I don't want that, and running to tell.
Okay.
I'm hoping so.
No, it's something like this, we're bringing it out to the public and making them aware. Awareness in any form is good.
And if mothers or fathers overlook, if for years your child was this way and all of a sudden they change, look harder.
Right.
Pay attention to your child.
Okay, and so we need parental education. And any family member, actually, older brother, older sister might see this. So this kind of creates trauma. So
absolutely.
I know we want to define trauma in this aspect.
And I just want to say, and be mindful about where your children are. And if they're in a room, if you're in a house and you have family, you have guests over, and your child is not in your room, in the room with you, and that child is in another room with the cousin, be mindful of that, because that's when it takes place a lot of time.
Okay, I understand that. So we'll talk a little bit about trauma.
Trauma, right.
Because I'm not too sure that relates to this, but.
Okay, so trauma, women and trauma. So the majority of women who have been sexually violated are traumatized, right? So they act out, they feel guilty, they do mutilation. A large percentage of substance abuse is caused by sexual violence. A lot of women that are incarcerated. So the trauma, it becomes, you know, when you're sexually violated at the age of 12, it kind of becomes a part of your identity, right? So you have all these bad feelings. You can't see beyond the trauma because it's imprinted in your brain, right?
Yeah, trauma also, for instance, in my experience, I was a preteen and teen. When I was on my own, I honestly did not know my self-worth. I thought, I don't know, I was made for that. So I sought out ways to keep being the same victim. And trauma, it's like PTSD.
Right, exactly.
After, it could take a second. You can be touched inappropriately, and that second can change your life. And after effect is low self-esteem, maybe confusion, guilt, shame. That's all trauma, and it affects us from living fulfilled lives.
And I guess if you're living like this and you're ashamed because you don't know how to get help for this, then obviously, like you said, your behavior is going to change.
Right.
And without the help, you don't know that we're humans. We have sensations. Right. We may have thought, oh, but kind of felt nice, and that's shameful. Right. Like, oh my gosh, I liked it. No, you're a human, and your nerve endings were touched.
Exactly.
So
you're right. I hear that a lot of times when you watch these. I hear these instances. They say, "Well, gee, you must have liked it. You enjoyed it. But you didn't. Your body is one thing. Your mind is another thing."
Right.
And I understand that because that could be a tough situation with that.
And then some women develop bipolar or personality disorders, and that's a defense mechanism for them to cope with the trauma that they've had to endure.
That's why it's important to get help.
Yes.
And you have something here called holistic therapy through conversation.
Right.
So maybe you can explain that because that's where this is headed.
Yeah. So the Vesta Project, that's the kind of environment that I create. So it's a holistic approach where women come to talk about anything that they want to. It's a completely safe, transparent environment. We use music, we do poetry, we do writing, we talk about it. We feel safe, which is very important, and it's important that we know that we're in a trusting environment, right?
A safe environment,
yeah,
where you can just tell your truth. And it's not of like, let's keep talking about it, because that's not healing. But being somewhere where you're seen, you're heard, you're believed, and you're encouraged to be more and better and to get help is healing.
And I appreciate that this is a very big topic. And someone watching, if they need more information about this, you know, I don't know where the Vesta Project's out of, but for their sake, if they liked what they heard and they wanted to reach out, how do they reach out? How can they reach out?
Well, they can email me at the Vesta Project, VESTAPROJECT 3669 @gmail.com.
So Vesta Project 3669
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com. Because there may be people that want to reach out.
I hope so.
And, or maybe even someone younger seeing the show. If they have the opportunity to call someone. If they're underage, is this confidential, or you know, I don't know how that works.
Well,
I mean, they would need parent.
Well, you know, that's a good question, because when I was in the hospital, and I remember having a 12-year-old come in with her mother, who did not know her 12-year-old was being sexually abused by her boyfriend.
Right.
But she became pregnant during the abuse. So that's how she ended up at the hospital. But I think that a young person should talk to anyone that they trust. I don't think it has anything to do with confidentiality. I think it has more so to do with having a conversation with someone about what's going on with you.
Okay. I appreciate you giving us this information. And if anyone has, please email this. We'll put this on the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions, please contact the show. We could get your number to them. But I appreciate this very important topic, so thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's okay. We'll be right back.
If I was in LA, California dreaming, I'd such a winter's day. Stopped into a church I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees, and I began to pray. You know the preacher like it goes. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Right, play that flute, Beth.
Well, that just about wraps up the show for today. We hope you were entertained, but more importantly, maybe you learned something. I know I did. I'd like to thank my co-host, George, a man of many words. Yeah. So as always, be good to your friends and family. Respect your neighbors. This is a great city. Keep Clifton close to your heart. Thank you. God bless and good night.